Have you ever wondered what it takes for someone to commit to undermining freedom for personal gain? Are dictators born that way? Perhaps it begins with wanting to control the playground and it gradually evolves into wanting to control an entire nation. Or perhaps they go through life relatively powerless and their first taste of power feels like a cold Vinduk draft on a sunny Saturday, and now they just can't get enough of the good stuff. Either way, it takes a lot of personal commitment, denying oneself the ability to care for humanity beyond selfish gain. Now, I don't know how much power we have to get rid of everyone that undermines the will of the people, but I do know that we always have the power of ridicule and laughter. And somewhere in the midst of our laughter, the people's pain gains a voice. And that is why I'm here every single Sunday, so that the powers that be never get the final say. My name is Ashwyn Mberi, and it's time for Second Take.
We are all seeking connection to each other, to the world, to the spaces we exist in.
Poor sportsmanship right now from the lads.
You might be physically ready, your body is ready, but mentally.
Here's another chance, and it is a goal from Vinduk.
Hij sê wie is er aan neertrekken. Daai bal het my grond gevat. Ja, hy het grond gevat. En as hy
But just enough next.
Running that mountain up. Okay, so we will be doing this for the mountain climber. More advanced, slightly advanced.
So is jou trolley reg? Want
I love it. I love it. So then
kickstart our countdown at number 5 with this one.
op Netwerk TV se Klets Kompas gesels ons nuus van 'n Maandag tot Donderdag. Ons kyk ook na die weer en meer. Stories wat jou raak en stories wat saak maak.
They've made a mistake in denying me bail, and they've made several other mistakes in many other cases.
The channels that teach us something new or reflect our expression. So it goes beyond switching to the right station. It's about choosing the experience that can adorn the present, dressing it with our tastes as we expand our preferences, because what we are actually connecting to is boundless, limitless human energy. And this is the spirit of NTV.
Let's talk about Rwanda's political scene. Paul Kagame has been the president of Rwanda for 24 years, and changes he made to the constitution in 2016 mean he could potentially stay in power for another 10 years. Now, the constitution is not the only area in which Paul Kagame applies his creativity. He has long been accused by human rights groups of suppressing opposition voices. Now, the one voice that truly irks him in his life, aside from Congo's Tshisekedi, is that of Victoire Ingabire. And it seems he is set for another solo act of an election, because Victoire Ingabire has been barred from contesting in this year's election. It was not her first attempt. In 2010, Miss Ingabire returned from exile in the Netherlands to take part in that year's presidential election. But she was arrested, prevented from standing, and later sentenced to 15 years in prison. After she was pardoned in 2018, she went on to found the Daufa Umurinzi opposition party. Now, she is a member of the majority Hutu ethnic group, and she had gotten into trouble for questioning why Rwanda's official memorial to the 1994 genocide did not include any Hutus. Turns out, in Rwanda, people who have been jailed for more than 6 months are barred from running in elections, which means that Paul Kagame will likely be squaring off with the Green Party's Frank Habineza. Now, Frank Habineza boasts a whopping 0.45% of the votes garnered in 2017. You heard that right, 0.45%. Now, I'm not one to question another nation's laws, but I do question the people that the law serves unfairly, and this seems to be the case. Paul Kagame often touts his popularity, yet it seems like conditions are often bent to suit his extended stay in power. How do you know that your people truly love you when when the one person that can challenge you never gets a chance to step into the ring? Perhaps part of the $300 million already pocketed from the weird UK-Rwanda immigration deal is worth wasting an election that is more predictable than load shedding in South Africa. All right, let's talk about the country that I sent Lobola cattle to, Zambia. Now, Emeritus Archbishop Telesfo Mpundu, the chairperson of a civil society group called OSIDA, has petitioned Joe Biden, the president of the USA, through the American embassy in Zambia to consider imposing sanctions against President Hichilema for presiding over what he says is a regime that has destroyed the country's institutions of good governance. So, obviously, he never heard of Edgar Lungu, King of the Cadet. Setting that aside, we all know that this is something familiar. We know where it's coming from. Clearly, after the US pinned sanctions onto Zimbabwe's leadership, OSIDA thought that this would be applicable to Hakainde Hichilema, as if sanctions are a buy one, get one free deal for SADC presidents. OSIDA didn't consider a few details. For example, Zimbabwe has the highest inflation rate in the world, has not had what is deemed a free and fair election in decades. Personal aides to the president have been in videos taking and facilitating bribes. Human rights abuses have been alleged since 1983, read on Gukurahundi, and Zambia has never had a military coup. In fact, Zambia's democracy is lauded for its ability to change political parties several times with little to no issues. So to wake up and petition a foreign entity to treat your country's leaders the same way they are treating the leaders of a country that is a shadow of its former glory is the kind of political reaching that actually reminds me that OSIDA's chairperson is an archbishop, and he was simply practicing faith, the evidence of things unseen. After the break, we head to Namspective to meet our brand new correspondent as she talks to young Namibians about the state of politics in the country.
In 1994, a group of Namibians saw a need for a grassroots Namibian medical aid fund. The Prosperity Medical Aid Fund was born right here, among the hard-working fishermen and ship workers of Walvish Bay. In 2001, in order to establish a fund focused on its members that put their health first, the fund formed its own identity away from its administrators, Prosperity Health. It was named Renaissance Health as a symbol for the renewal of medical funding in Namibia, a transformation in health. Renaissance members voted for their first board of trustees who would carry the fund forward for all Namibians. By 2010, Renaissance had members across the entire Namibia, a fund founded by Namibians for Namibians to ensure access to quality healthcare. In 2020, RMA was put to the test with COVID-19. Supplying life-saving oxygen machines door-to-door to members when our Namibian hospitals were full, saving many of its members' lives. RMA is not just a medical aid fund, it's a partner in health for its members, whether through our chronic compliance programs or yearly wellness checkups. RMA was started by you. It belongs to you. A proudly Namibian-first medical aid fund providing the best in care for all Namibians. Renaissance Health Medical Aid Fund, serving Namibia since 1994. RMA, your health comes first.
I'm sure you're wondering why I'm here. Well, we decided that the male dominance in this show needs a second take. And in the same breath, I look forward to profiling any and all potential female dictators. I am Edwina Besaidnote, and I'll be your Namspective correspondent because Ashwyn doesn't know how to interact with people without unnecessary punchlines and potential insults. Today's order of business is understanding how Namibian youth feel about the country's political climate, especially considering that the youth will be the majority of the voters in this year's election. Our first Namspectives will come from Patricia and Philip.
My name is Patricia Pizia, and my stance on youth involvement when it comes to elections I do think it's important for the youth to be a part of the election process and to actually vote, because as we all heard, the youth, we are the future leaders of tomorrow and we need to get involved as soon as possible. But at the same time, we are not informed as much as we should be. We hear a lot of empty promises, and from past elections, when it's time for election campaigns, we hear these politicians promising us this, promising us that, promising us platforms and opportunities. But when they do get office, these promises just seem to be forgotten. So I do think at the government side, these promises need to be met, because it encourages the youth to just not simply care about these things as much as we should.
Good day, everyone. My name is Philip Joseph, and I best believe it's important for the youth to be involved in this year's elections and future elections as well. The reasons why I'm saying this, if you look at what has transpired in our country, there is a very high unemployment rate among the youth, which is a very concerning matter. So we are the future of tomorrow, and if we do want things to change, it's always, I best believe it's important for us to take part in this year's election and future elections, as I mentioned. At the end of the day, if you look at what is happening around the world, politics does shape the world, and it's best for ourselves and for future generations to take part in elections in order for us to have a country that is moving forward.
So, being a Namibian youth means that I am more likely to be caught at the catch than to catch onto political manifestos. Of course, during the upcoming election, the youth will decide the president. So I am prepared to set aside my political apathy as long as politicians actually make more of an effort to reach me than they do to get S&T money for unnecessary travel. Here are two more perspectives.
Hi, I'm Nankali Kamwanga, and I believe that the youth should use their voice in this election, that they should get their voters card, that they should vote, because we constantly say that we want to see change and that we want the country to cater for us as youth. So I think that this is a great time for us to use our voices, to amplify our voices, not only to rely on the decisions other people make for us, but I think that we should have this opportunity. We should tell our friends to vote, our cousins, whatever it may be, people around us to vote, so that we can make decisions for ourselves through the government, through these people that are put in line to make decisions for us. So I think it's important that as a young person, you go get your voter's card, you vote, you make the decision, you make sure that your future is in your hands as much as it is other people making decisions for the country. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Zoe Karsten, and I do believe that we as the youth can make a difference this year during our elections. When I turned 18, I realized that I now have the privilege and the responsibility to use my vote for a good cause. And I feel as though we as the youth should motivate our peers to go vote and to register to vote, because we are responsible for our own futures. So we have to take action into how we are going to plan ahead and how we want our future to look like. I don't think that our governments are actively trying to involve the youth in many of our issues and this year's election. And many times we are shunned because of how young we are and that we are not knowledge about certain topics. But if we are not informed, then how will we be able to know? So I think it is important that more channels are opened up for the youth to become involved, to be informed, and to know what exactly they are voting for, what exactly they are involving themselves in for change. Because if we want a better Namibia, we have to start with the youth of Namibia.
That's been Namspective with me, Edwina Besaidnout. I look forward to hearing how you feel about the nation next week. But for now, let's get back to Ashwyn as he treads the line between humor and outright ridicule, with our lawyers carefully watching.
Looks a little something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad bit. What? This is what you call a bad bit. Looks a little something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad bit. What? This is what you call a bad bit. Looks a little something bit like I can't.
All right, now Russia's President Vladimir Putin said that Russia is ready to use nuclear weapons if its sovereignty or independence is threatened, issuing another blunt warning to the West and, to be quite honest, the whole world. First of all, we know. I mean, you don't have to keep saying it. I mean, seriously, we have watched how Russia does politics. I'm not even entirely sure I won't be poisoned by the end of this show. So we know what the Vlad is capable of. But I'm afraid the Americans and their allies don't, or they pretend it's not a real issue. The same way they're currently pretending that Donald Trump running for president after inciting an insurrection is not an issue. Because for years, NATO thought that the man was bluffing about his thoughts on their expansion. Then they took it a step further and found out that Vladimir puts in the work when it comes to his word. Now, admittedly, it's hard to pay attention as a nation when you're too focused on Biden's incoherent speech, or Trump's for that matter. But the US just banned TikTok, so no more distractions trying to copy South African dances that need ancestral guidance to learn. You can focus on the matter at hand. As for us, in Africa, what's a TikTok ban next to the natural resources we have already sold to China? TikTok of the week after the break.
Attention kids, we have some exciting news for you. We are back, and this year we are planning on going big. So listen up. If you are in grade 3, grade 2, grade 1 or pre-primary, we are bringing your free school workbooks to you soon. This is all you need to know about where you can find your books. Books will be available for free in Republican street sale newspapers and all Namibian Sun newspapers. And for all pre-primary kids out there, your books will be delivered to your school in all 14 regions of Namibia. And there's more. Pre-primary books will also be printed in 9 different languages. Check out when your book will be available from the schedule right here. That's not all. Our free online school is there to help you along the way with video lessons and more books to download. You can also follow along on NTV every Monday to Friday from 9:30 to 11:30 for your daily online school lesson. We thank all our sponsors who are helping to build a brighter future for Namibia. Contact us at info@acdtrust.com and follow us on Instagram.
Now, Sergen runs a TikTok page where he finds out what the world knows about Africa. Newsflash, it's not much.
What country is also known as the gift of the Nile?
London.
No.
Oh, Thailand.
What country is also known as the gift of the Nile?
America, Italy, Spain, the Netherlands.
No. What country is also known as the gift of the Nile?
France.
What country is also known as the gift of the Nile?
Gift of the what?
Gift of the what?
The River Nile. Oh, Ireland.
Now twirl yourself out the way. What country is also known as the gift of the Nile?
Egypt.
Correct. What? Yes. What country is also known as the land of the upright men?
Africa.
Which African country is also known as the land of the upright men? Yes.
Upright men?
Yes.
It's like tall men. Ghana?
Which African country is also known as the land of the upright men?
Nigeria?
Which African country is also known as the land of the upright men?
Burkina Faso.
Correct! Yeah!
Newsprint Namibia is a web offset printing operation that specializes in the printing of newspapers and commercial inserts. We are the leaders in our industry with the highest quality print work and the shortest turnaround time from computer to print and delivery anywhere in the country daily. Newsprint was established mainly as a newspaper print company, but had to diversify its business to do commercial printing as required in the market. We print commercial inserts previously printed in South Africa in the shortest possible time. We, as an organization, also started printing workbooks for our education system and will also print textbooks for the Namibian market. For more information, please contact print@newsprint.com.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nhh.com.na.
So, from Kagame's one-sided election to a civil society group seeking sanctions for Zambia's president as if there were extra ones left after Zim's leadership got theirs, to Namspective and a nuclear warning from Vladimir Putin, it's been an honor helping you find the humor in otherwise serious politics, because laughter, my fellow truth seekers, is the great equalizer. It gives voice to the voiceless, empowers the oppressed, and reminds the mighty that their grip on power is not unassailable. Regardless of the political situation in your country, remember this: while the powers that be may cling to their thrones, they cannot silence the chorus of laughter rising from the hearts of the people. And on this show, no singular person is too great and no dictatorship is untouchable, because every step they take, every move they make will be there to give a second take.